An immature performance from the San Jose Sharks as they see their 7-game point streak snapped.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making the Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, the number one sports network, podcast network out there. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be discussing the Sharks 2-0 loss to the Calgary Flames. We called it a trap game, and the Sharks fell 100% for the trap as they looked completely useless. I don't know. It was a horrible performance from the Sharks. So we'll discuss that. We'll talk about Askarov as he was the lone bright spot in this game for San Jose. And with Jeff Skinner projected to be out for a while, going to look at potential Skinner replacements as the Sharks need some more offensive punch. So let's get started by talking about this game. We're not going to do kind of the normal, dig into the numbers because this game was ugly. And I think the storylines from this game is a more important thing than kind of the nitty gritty of the numbers beef with this team. And especially with Skinner leaving this game very early, like the number, it's again, I think the stories from this game are more important, but this game was if you watch the preview show, I said this was a big test in the Sharks' maturity, right? As you've come out of, you won 4 straight games. You've stolen some games against teams that you probably shouldn't have stole games from, right? You look at the Wild game where you were asleep for the first 2 periods, and you look at the Panthers game where you got hemmed in your own zone in both those games because of Askarov. You stole games that you probably didn't deserve. And tonight was the night where I think it would have potentially shown what this Sharks team is made of, right? If you're playing a lesser opponent and the worst team in the NHL, and a good opportunity for you to kind of come out and reestablish your brand of hockey instead of this hang in there ASCII hockey until we can generate some offense. And the Sharks just did the opposite of that. They leaned into the hang in there ASCII approach. And credit to Askarov, we're going to spend the entire second segment talking about Askarov because what he's doing right now is ridiculous. But you can't get away with it forever. You can't get away with this. We'll hang in there, and then we'll flip the switch. You're not good enough to do that. And that's why I think this is an immature, I think is the best way to describe it, performance from the Sharks. Because, they were sloppy. It was everybody other than Askarov, everybody in this game was sloppy, just horrible turnovers. They couldn't complete simple passes, and the defense was a mess tonight. Orlov, I think he is moonlighting as a pizza delivery boy with the amount of pizzas he's served up tonight. And it's just, we are lucky that the Calgary Flames just cannot finish goals, or else this would have been 6-0. Like if you did this, if you do this next week against, some of the teams the Sharks are playing, you're going to get crushed. Like 6-0 type of performances. It's again, you lucked out that this game wasn't worse because of the opponent, right? And we talked about in the preview just how bad Calgary is at scoring goals, and you saw it tonight, right? Like how many opportunities did Calgary have tonight? They had 15 high danger chances at 5-on-5. 15 high danger chances. And you're just serving them up to this Calgary team. John Klingberg was he's the poster boy right now for this game with just how poor he played tonight. Just awful turnovers, awful penalties, like taking a penalty when you're trying to get the tying goal with 4 minutes left on a just not having your stick in the right place and that trip there, just terrible. And then this power play continues to struggle with Klingberg running it. Like, again, I don't want to like pile on just one person because everybody had their fair share. Like, everybody had their fair share of blame in this game, but just a gross performance from the Sharks tonight. And they were due. Like, let's be honest, they were due for a performance like this. And hopefully, the hope is, right, they learn from this, and then you come out prepared for when the Sharks take on, I believe it's the Kraken next. I'm pretty sure it's the Kraken next. Like, they were overdue for like the way that they had been playing to start this year, and especially over the past couple weeks, right? And they've gotten a lot of puck luck, et cetera, but right, you were 100% overdue for a stinker, right? Was that the last stinker was probably the Utah game. Like, I know they got shut out in the Pittsburgh game, but they played really well in that game. Like, it had been a while since you had a legitimate stinker. So 3 weeks, I guess, is probably, since you had a legitimate stinker type of game. So they were overdue. But it was just frustrating because this had all the telltale signs of a trap game, right? Of how well the Sharks have been playing, how poorly Calgary had been playing. And you had a feeling that this was going to be that game where they just could not show up, and especially with the warning signs we've seen from the last couple games of them, right? Not the Wild game, right? You don't start until the third period. The Panthers game where you just like you're trying to hang on and let Asky steal you a game. And it all came together tonight. So disappointing. Like, there's no other way to put it. Just a disappointing performance from San Jose. But like, the hope is, again, you learn from this and they come out and they start the next game on time, and you try to, kind of build off of a bad loss, right? There's no way you're right. This is a bad loss. I think this is the worst game they played all season. Like, given who they were playing, given the circumstances, et cetera, I think this is the worst game they played of the season. And, yes, I know the Hurricanes game, but that Hurricanes team is ridiculous, right? And there's the Utah game where, they just kind of fell apart there. Like, this was the Calgary Flames, who are leading the Tankathon, a team that's still trying to kind of figure out what they are, a team that is the worst offense in the NHL. And still, I mean, you held them to one goal until the last 2 seconds of the game when they scored an empty netter to make it 2-0. Like, you had every opportunity to win this game, but you can't win games when you have one shot on goal in a period and then you followed up with 5 shots on goal in the second period. Like, it is not sustainable. The puck luck and how the Sharks have been playing, not sustainable hockey. And hopefully this is a wake-up call for everyone. And I'm curious to see how Ryan Warsofsky treats the group here going forward, right? And I know, right, you're a little banged up, right? You lost Jeff Skinner tonight. It's clear Tyler Toffoli is not 100%. Eklund takes a stick to the mouth and loses gets a tooth chipped, and 100% they missed that 4-minute call there. But even if the Sharks got that power play, do you have any faith in them in the way they were playing tonight that they were going to get a goal? Because I don't. I didn't think they were going to get a goal, even if they got that power play. So, yeah, how does Ryan Warsofsky go from here? Because the team has built up a lot of goodwill over the last couple of weeks, and you see how they played. Is this a little bit of tough love? Like, guys, this is a nice reality check for you of where you are and how hard it is to continually win games in the NHL. And who does he hold accountable for performances like this, right? I'm really curious to see the changes, because again, there has been some signs over the last couple of games and the Sharks have gotten away with it, but I think you're gonna need to see some changes going into Saturday's game against the Kraken, and whether that's somebody else running the power play, different power play units, different lines, whatever it is. Somebody needs to be held accountable for this game and how the Sharks just could not get up for this game against again, you played the worst team in the NHL tonight in the Calgary Flames. And it's not even really close with how bad this Flames team has been to start this season. So we're going to spin positive here. Talk about Askarov, who has been continues to be just absolutely brilliant. Right? It's I feel like the Gordon thing where you're like Gordon Ramsay thing where you're calling, the first segment I'm just calling the team a donkey, and then now I'm hugging the little child and be like, oh, you poor baby, when I talk about Askarov here. And yes, somebody wanted me to call Klingberg a donkey. Klingberg played like a donkey tonight, so there we go. But yes, we're going to talk about Askarov here. Just 1 second. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all of our financial accounts, let alone what we're worth between 401ks, savings, investments. It's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's where Monarch Money comes in, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. It's great because you can review it with your partner. You can set shared goals and make better financial decisions together. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money's going and how to make it work harder for you. It's like your own personal Puckpedia. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. Also, I'm excited to tell you about my favorite pair of jeans wear. It's getting colder, getting rainier. You need those jeans right now. You got to check out Doer. I've been living in their performance denim straight jeans, and honestly, they completely changed the game for me. I love my Doer jeans because 1, they look great, but 2, they're also super comfy. 5 times the stretch of traditional denim. They feel stretchy, but they don't look stretchy, which is almost a miracle that they can pull this off. Doer combines classic jeanswear style with the kind of comfort and performance you get from athletic wear, the best of both worlds. There's a reason why they call them the world's most comfortable pants, but don't take my word for it. Go check out a pair for yourself. Doer just opened a store right here in Hayes Valley, so you can feel the difference firsthand. Go check them out at 567 Hayes Street. Mention our promo code LOCKEDONSF in store to get 15% off your first order, or check them out online at shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF for 15% off. That's shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF. All right, before we continue discussing Askarov, do of course want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, perfect time to subscribe. Even though the Sharks lost tonight, this is still a fun, exciting team that's going to continue to provide plenty of fun and exciting moments. So make sure you're following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. The one bright spot, right? Come in here, you sweet baby child. Yaroslav Askarov continuing to just be outstanding. Guys, really quick. We have a goalie over 9. We have 2 goalies right now with a 900 save percentage. What a world that we live in. Askarov was brilliant again tonight with his 34 saves on 35 shots. He gave up the 1 goal, and even that goal was Dickinson and Khrushchev with the miscommunication. Khrushchev handcuffs Dickinson. Dickinson can't really kind of either get the puck up to Khrushchev. It was really weird play because Khrushchev was he passed it to Dickinson and then followed up his own pass. And instead of letting Dickinson handle it and then kind of like a give and go, they just kind of both decided not to do anything with it. And then Blake Coleman steals it, and poor Askarov just not a chance there, unfortunately. But absolutely, yeah, the way Askarov has played over the last couple of weeks here, right? And basically since that Kings game where he gave up 4 goals on 14 shots, he has been absolutely lights out for San Jose, and running out of ways to just describe how good and how locked in he has been for San Jose. His performance tonight was continues just to be. Again, I'm running out of ways. 1 goal allowed, 34 saves on 35 shots. Again, he gets pulled in the last little bit here because the Sharks are trying to get the tying goal. 971 save percentage, 3.67 expected goals. He gave up 1. 103 goals against, 8 of 9 high danger saves, 14 of 14 mid danger, and 12 of 12 low danger. Again, is Askarov going to continue to play like a 960 save percentage? Probably not, but this is honestly the best I have ever seen him play. Grant, giving even with his time with the Barracuda last year, where he had like multiple shutouts in a row, to start the season, even his play in the playoffs last year, which was also lights out, especially against that first round against the Reign, when the Barracuda were basically like, we can get you 1 or 2 goals and you're going to have to do the rest. I think given the circumstances of the quality of opponents and just what the Sharks have asked of him right now, I think this is the best hockey I've ever seen Yaroslav Askarov play. The puck just looks like a beach ball coming to him. The way he's tracking it right now, the way he you can see the game has slowed down, right? And this was, if you go back to when Askarov was struggling, and it felt like he was kind of rushing everything. And we talked about that, right? Where he's just kind of going down a split second too early, or even, half a second too early. And that's all you need in the NHL, right? Is just that little bit. And he was just kind of dropping a little bit too early, and he was getting beat on the glove hand, little too early, all that stuff. Like, you're seeing him now catch up to the speed of the game. And we know the lateral movement, you saw it plenty tonight. Some of the saves, some of the basically highway robbery that he made getting over from one side to the other. This is what you expected, right? And it is great to see that he, even when the Sharks don't have their A game, B game, C game, right, he's going to keep this team in games. Again, I know they lost tonight, but he's going to keep this team in games that they have no business being in. And we've seen that over the past week here. And tonight, I think, was kind of the cherry on top. And that Panthers game, I think, was his best game. And when you think of just the highway robbery type of saves and the what he was under, but I know Dustin Wolf got the save or got the shutout tonight, but Dustin Wolf didn't have to do much, right? Askarov went. It would have been nice to have a nice battle tonight. Oh, it's so frustrating this game, because you could have had this awesome Wolf. If the Sharks offense was doing what it's supposed to, you could have this great Wolf versus Askarov game. We could have been talking about how the Pacific Division, this goaltender. Well, we can still talk about that, but it's just frustrating how this game could have gone. But watching Wolf, and I've loved watching Dustin Wolf because of his story, right? Being a local kid, being undersized, waiting until the 7th round, and just his development, and how the franchise is on Dustin Wolf's shoulders, right? I mean, we saw last year Dustin Wolf dragged this team within a point of a playoff spot, and if they got any sort of offensive contributions, this team would be a much better team. Even though Wolf's not had the best starts of this season, but it's nice now that you're feeling like with Askarov and net, the Sharks could potentially start to kind of do the same things, right? Where as long as Asky's in net, and he looks like he's going to be his net for a while, especially with Nedeljkovic, who's is away from the team with whatever the personal issues that he's dealing with, and again, hoping for the best with Nedeljkovic here. it's going to be Askey's net, and the Sharks are going to continue to lean on Askey to do what he's doing right now, because the offense is struggled as of late, and the Sharks, while they were scoring a ton of goals early and there was a little helter-skelter, you've seen a much more structured team, but the offense is kind of running dry here, and and Askey's going to continue to have to see a lot of pucks coming his way, I think, going forward. So again, like, super frustrating. It was so fun to talk about, like, both teams just getting a ton of shots, and Wolf and Askarov just going at it. One day we're gonna get one of those games. I cannot wait for it. But anyway, we're going to talk about the Jeff Skinner injury, why it looks like it's probably going to be a little bit for him, and talk about some legitimate replacements, especially if the Sharks want to add offensive punch to the lineup. So we'll discuss that here in just 1 second. When I'm hydrated, everything just works. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. So I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. Drip Drop, they actually taste super great. My go-to flavors so far, cherry and fruit punch. I just like those flavors, man. It's become my secret weapon for staying sharp and energizing me throughout long days. Hydration has become a non-negotiable for me, and Drip Drop helps me feel sharper, calmer, and honestly, just better overall. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. And if you want to grab tickets to go to the Tank, because nothing beats seeing hockey in person, but we know, right, getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting for queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your favorite team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. We use Game Time whenever we go get tickets to go see the Sharks. We're going in December. It's always a holiday tradition for us to go catch a Sharks game right around Christmas time. And we got tickets. It was great. It's easy because you can see the zone deals, so you can pick your section, and Game Time will provide you the seats. You can save big. You can even find NHL tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. All right, before we finish up, do of course want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, go check out the Locked On NHL game night. They cover every game, every night until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. It's great on busy nights like tonight. We have a ton of games that we can kind of catch up with going on around the league. You get local analysis on a national scale. So find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. So Jeff Skinner left this game like literally 2 minutes, first shift. He gets his ankle kind of caught in the boards, and it looks like his toes touch his shins. I'm not a doctor, but they shouldn't do that. So assuming Skinner is probably going to be out, right? And we don't know the extent of the injury. If you're guessing, it's probably like an ankle sprain or a hyperextension. In the worst case, it's like a fracture in the ankle or something like that. But assuming it's one of, something, a extension or whatever, right? A sprain. He's going to be out for a while. You're looking a month plus, assuming it's one of those injuries. So again, Not a doctor. I just play one on TV. The Sharks, though, they're going to they have options here with the Barracuda, right? And you could bring up your Zach Ostapchuks and even your Ethan Cardwells, and Ethan Cardwell, I think would be a fine call up option for San Jose here. Or if you want to bring up your Patrick Giles or one of those type of players, but you have to also think of the role, right? And Skinner was brought here to score goals, even playing on the third line, right? And especially for a team that has struggled to score as of late, right? They got shut out tonight. They've scored 2 goals last game. They scored 3 goals, including an empty netter against the Panthers. They scored 2 goals against the Jets. So it's been a little while since this team has kind of light the lamp on a consistent basis. So if you're looking to potentially add players who can fill that Skinner role, right? Playing on the third line, adding some offensive punch, guys who can play on the power play too. That's what you're looking for. So the players on the Barracuda that come, and we know, again, really quickly, Michael Misa is still week to week. So we don't know when Misa is going to be coming back. But 3 players that come to mind for the Sharks here to look at. The first option is Cam Lund. Thing with Cam Lund right now is he has not played the last couple games. Last week he took a puck to the face very late in a game against the Wranglers where they ended up winning 4-3, but took a puck to the face, hasn't played. So again, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a concussion. So if it's a concussion, he, depending again the severity, etc., he should be probably gearing up here and getting ready to get back into form. But he's the guy who I think would make a lot of sense because one, he's played NHL games last year, played this exact same role in the third line, has a little bit of scoring pop, right? We saw score 2 goals last year. Only has 1 so far with the Barracuda, but this is a kid who scored a ton of goals in college. Is a filthy shot. And I think can play that exact same Jeff Skinner role of kind of, hang around the net, kind of on the outside of the net and be able to kind of finish off shots, finish off plays there, right? And I do think Cam Lund is a potential should be the first choice because, again, played in the NHL. He's probably the closest out of all the guys that we're going to talk about to be consistently NHL player, right? And if he's healthy, this is the guy who I would probably lean on to help fill that role. The 2 other guys, though, Igor Chernyshov, the Fireworks Factory himself. He is on a heater right now with the Barracuda. He just scored a natty hattie the other night. He's leading the Barracuda when it comes to goals and points. The 19-year-old kid, he's played professional hockey in the KHL, has played on the bottom 6 there. Big guy, 6'2", right? Big time body. He could be another option here. And, as he's playing very well so far with the Barracuda, he's really kind of found his footing over the past couple of weeks here. And again, if you're looking for someone who can finish, and especially finish close to the net, Chernyshov is that guy. And Chernyshov's playmaking too is also, we've seen, especially watching with Saginaw last year, just how great of a playmaker he is as well. The scoring's there, but he's also an underrated playmaker in his ability to kind of get those seam passes through to guys who are kind of just wide open on the back door. He's extremely good at that. So he's another potential guy. The third player I'm looking at, Quentin Musty. So Musty does we know Musty's scoring, but watching him in the Barracuda, he's again year older than Chernyshov, and I don't want to try to compare him and stuff. And I know Chernyshov has the numbers, but I think Musty's been playing better between the two, and I think Musty's a better play driver right now between the two. Musty's ability to transport the puck and carry the puck has been huge. I did an article recently on Quentin Musty for the Reef about his ability in the transition game to draw players to him and then free up space for other players. You saw that he's done that with Chernyshov a couple times. He's done it with Beasted a few times as well. He would be a very easy option to pick as well. And the way he's been scoring goals so far this year in the AHL, it's up close, up tight, like those really kind of greasy goals. And we know he can shoot. He's shown that as well too. So I think it just kind of depends on what the Sharks want to do here. And again, if you're trying to fill that Skinner role, I think all three of these guys can do it. I think Lund is probably your safest option. Again, they're probably going to pick a guy like Cardwell, who's more than deserving. Like, don't get me wrong, Cardwell should be playing in the NHL over, guys like Barclay Goodrow. But if you're looking to fill Jeff Skinner's role for the next month or so, especially for a team that might need some shot in the arm offensively, I would, if I'm Mike Greer, I'm thinking really long and hard about if one of these guys could potentially do that right now. So we'll see. We'll see what the Sharks do as they have some time. The Barracuda are back home here, so they can get someone up to Seattle pretty easily for Saturday's game. So we'll probably know more on Friday on what the Sharks do here and who kind of gets recalled, because they're going to have to make a move here with only 11 healthy forwards. So, but yeah, we'll be back on Saturday night, or actually Saturday afternoon. We'll have a preview for the Sharks Kraken. So make sure you're following along for that. And of course, a reaction after the game as well. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until Saturday. Bye, friends.